Good afternoon. Good afternoon. It's a wonderful day, isn't it? This is Tuesday. It is the 8th of October in the year 2024, and I am so happy to be here. How about you? Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm just delighted, happy, thankful, all of that because God has blessed us to live to see another day. Today, we're going to talk about living your life. Are you yet in the caregiver mode? And goodbye versus bad bye. Goodbye versus bad bye. And I'm telling you, I had never thought of bad bye before until yesterday. And it came to me. I was watching a show on television, and I think it was a movie. And the way the lady said goodbye, then it came to me, well, is there a bad bye? And lo and behold, when I went to my phone and spoke it, there it was. Well, my computer, I guess either one of them, whichever one I was on at the time. But yes, there is a bad bye. And so you think about how we say goodbye, and sometimes we say goodbye, if you want to get rid of a person. So why not just say bad bye? Bad bye. That's different, isn't it? But anyway, we're going to go into that. Dear God, as I sit before you to speak, I pray to you that my soul you will keep. And if I should die before I finish, I pray to you, dear God, in the name of Jesus, that any outstanding sins will be forgiven. Amen. Oh, and I hope everything is going well with you too. This is such a wonderful, beautiful day, and I have been doing some things here on this computer, and I know that this living life to its fullest, it means not holding back, living your life. Are you living your life for you? I know other people are included in our lives and we can't leave other people out, but then you have your own personal life. You have your own everything that God gave to you. Are you living it to the fullest? Are you still living, the second one? Are you still in the caregiver mode? We're going to get into that too. Living life to its fullest means not holding back, having the courage to live the life that is truest and most authentic to each of us, and not the life that is expected of us by others or society, says Tammy Chang, MD, a board certified physician and author of the book Boundaries for Women Physicians, which focuses on self care and avoiding burnout. How about that? Self care and avoiding burnout. And I had some uh, topics lined up here. And I had to have one out of psychology today, don't you? And so let me see if I can get to that. There it is. Talking about living your life. Purpose of life. What is the purpose of life? And this is psychology today. It's Mike Brooks, PhD, is the one that uh, authored this. And what is the purpose of life? Why are we here? Here's a reasonable answer. And this was updated on October the 2nd. So we're not too far from a year ago when this was updated, and it was reviewed by Jessica Schrader. And this is, it's a SCH, so I'm using that as a sk, but it could, I don't know whether she pronounces Schrader, or Schrader. Schrader or Schrader. But it's SCHRADER, and I'm saying Scray because it has a SCH on there. And Jessica, if I am mispronouncing your name, I ask you to forgive me. All right. Key points here in this article is existence is a cosmic lottery we've won. Existence is a cosmic lottery we've won. Second point, there's no single correct answer to life's purpose. The next point, we are here to evolve, adapt, and grow. Next point, happiness is a byproduct of fulfilling our purpose. And there is a purpose for each of us here in this world, on this earth. All right, there is a purpose. Remember, Ecclesiastes says there's a time and a place for everything, there's a purpose for everything and everybody. And we are made for a purpose by God, okay? Now, and he has a disclaimer on here. He said, I don't claim that what I say is totally true because the truth is elusive in this complicated world. He said, rather, I'm offering some ideas to help perceive the world and ourselves in a manner that opens pathways for change and growth. And I'm going to say, I concur. Okay? All right. The ultimate question. Here we go. As far as most of us know, we only have one life to live. That's right. As most of us know, we only have one life to live here on this earth, okay? So I won't get into everything else, but you know how I feel about eternal life. I believe it's there, but it's not here on this world. All right? He said there's a new heaven, a new earth. Now, as far as most of us know, we only have one life to live. The odds against our existence are quite literally beyond comprehension. Out of some cosmic miracle that we don't appreciate enough, we are here. Yes, we are. Out of some cosmic miracle that we don't appreciate enough, that's right there. That's full right there, isn't it? We are here. One chance event after another had to occur for each of us to be born into this world. And you remember that movie I saw, and I've seen it. I think I've watched it. I know I've watched it two times in its entirety, and probably a third time just to get this because that uncle was telling his niece said the universe had to move some things around in order for you to be where you are today. And I believe that. If you look on my Facebook page, I have something similar to that on there. So this starts with the Big Bang and includes the countless factors that had to line up for life to evolve on this planet, to your great grandparents randomly bumping into one another at a country grocery store. Isn't it amazing how we meet people, how we meet each other? It is just awesomely amazing. Okay, the fact that we are living and breathing on this big blue marble we call Earth is statistically inconceivable. Conceivable, yes, it is. This is nice. I like this. It might not always feel that way, but if we step back, we can see that this is true. We are all the winners of the biggest lottery ever. The biggest lottery ever. I believe that we're all winners of the biggest lottery ever. Given that we defied all odds to exist, that begs the most important question that philosophers, theologians, and countless others have attempted to answer. We might even consider this the ultimate question. What is the purpose of life? My. On a related note, how are we to live in a way that fulfills our purpose? Another way to think of this is, if we are the winners of the cosmic lottery, how are we supposed to spend our winnings? Listen to this. Some of these people's minds are just super, super brilliant, aren't they? An answer to the ultimate question. Here we go. This is Psychology Today, October the 2nd, 2023 is when this was released, okay? Conan, what is good in life? Conan, what is good in life? Conan, to crush your enemies, to see them driven before you, and to hear the lamentations of the women. And that's Conan from the movie Conan the Barbarian. Have you seen that movie? I have. That movie is decades old. I've seen that movie. While everyone is entitled to have an opinion about why we are here and what to do with our lives, I'll go on to record. This is the author talking, okay? As disagreeing with Conan's answer. He said, I, of course, don't have the answer either. However, I promise that I'm not going to say the answer to the ultimate question is 42. All right. Your head might be spinning right now because I just said that I am going to try to answer the ultimate question. However, he says, I'm not arrogant enough to claim that I have that answer, but I don't think anyone has the answer for that matter, although many people claim that they do. All right, so he says he's going to attempt to answer this for us. And hey, like I've said more than once, Elder Davis would say, nothing beats a failure but a try. So we can try, can't we? Hi, thank you for being here. Can you agree with me? He's asking us, can we agree with him, even partially, that there are many ideas about the purpose of life? Oh, I can agree with that. Even if you already believe in one answer to the ultimate question, you still recognize that other people and groups have different answers to the same question, and that is for real. If there were just one clear, unequivocal answer to the ultimate question, wouldn't we all have the same one without any disagreements? In fact, would there even be an ultimate question if we all had the same answer to it? Assuming that we can even agree upon the nature of the wording of the ultimate question, the different answers can't all be right. Or can they? If you disagree with him, he's asking, he said, if you disagree with me, or he's stating, okay, if you disagree with me, you actually agree with me because it proves that finding the answer to the ultimate question is open to debate and different points of view. All right, look at that. Worked it in there, huh? I'm going to tell you a little secret about the ultimate question he's telling us, okay? There is no secret, correct answer to this question. There is no secret, correct answer to this question. What is the purpose of life? So, how could I or anyone else have a secret answer to the ultimate question that few have stumbled upon? The right answer as to the purpose of life, there is no single right answer. It would be more accurate to say that there are right answers. Yeah, there are right answers. Okay, then we go on. Here's what might really have your noodle. He's working with us, isn't he? I like this. You already know an answer to the ultimate question, but you might not know that you know it. Although I'm telling you what you already know, instead of that being a limitation, Consider the possibility that this is where its power resides. All right? So let me do that again. He said, instead of that being, talking about you already know, he said, although I'm telling you what you already know, instead of that being a limitation, consider the possibility that this is where its power resides. All secrets are open secrets. Nothing is hidden. All secrets are open secrets. Nothing is hidden. Nothing is revealed. People can only be told what they already know. Although they know, they may not be conscious of their knowledge. And this came from Camden Benares from Zen Without Zen Masters. Okay. Now, here we go again. An answer to the purpose of life. This is nice. I enjoy this so much because there's so much in this world and out of this world that we can learn and share with others. I think the most exciting part of this is that I can share it because although some people might, say that they know this already and they might know it already, but there are some people who don't have time to do this research and this study like I do and be able to share, so they can just sit or drive or be working around the house and listen to Point of View with Miss Shirley Polk and hear all of this, and even the people you know, because you shared it with them. Everybody doesn't have time to do this, and everybody doesn't want to take time to do this. So, hey, I thank God that He blesses me and allows me to do the research, do the studies, and be able to share this with you and the whole world wide web, okay? An answer to the purpose of life. Why are we here? Why are we here? Because we're here. Just as simple as that. Roll the bones from the song Roll the Bones by Rush. We evolved so that we can live. We evolved so that we can live. Thus, we could also say that we live to evolve. So there's a circularity here. Evolution is the process that allowed organisms to survive and thrive. Humans, along with every living animal or plant, owe our existence to it, evolving, and we know the Creator is the one and only living true God. All right? That's the God. Our purpose is to evolve during our lifetime, and that's a fact. Change, okay, and change for the better. Our purpose is to evolve during our lifetime because that is consistent with our evolutionary purpose. Thus, an answer to the ultimate question of what is the purpose of life is that we are here so that we can continue to live, accept, learn, and grow. A purpose of life and our purpose is to continue to evolve. Look at that. It sounds simple. Continue to evolve. We evolved to evolve. That's our next section here. When we think of evolution as meaning as a process of learning, adapting, and growing to be more effective and efficient, we see evolution everywhere. We see it everywhere. And they use the word kids here. If you know me, you know I don't like to call children kids. I didn't write this, okay? So I'm going to take a swallow and say it. Kids learn more advanced skills and concepts in school, and this continues on through college and throughout their careers. Growth in terms of profitability is one of the primary goals of any business. Technology is always evolving, offering faster internet speeds, more powerful computers, better productivity tools, and more engaging and entertaining experiences. Athletes strive to improve their skills and performances through uh, better nutrition and training methods. They aim to win more championships and set records. Musicians and artists want to become more technically proficient, creative, and successful. Communities and societies not only grow in number, but they try to serve the needs of the people to enable the citizens to live healthier, happier lives. Even with the most, even with most regions and most religions, we seek to grow in our faith to be a better Christian, Muslim, Hindu, Buddhist, or Jew. We all try. We want to be better. We want to be better. We have a goal in mind. And the Christian has the goal of eternal life. On the biological level, learning recruits the reward system in the brain so that the learning is reinforced. We evolve to grow and learn to become better than we were the day before so that we might survive and thrive. Oh, yes. See, I like that. They said survive and then thrive after it. In general, we feel happy when we learn and grow. Don't we feel happy when we learn and grow? Can't you see me buzzing over? We could say that this happiness is a purpose of life as well, yet it could also be said to be the byproduct of fulfilling our life purpose or learning and growing. Oh my goodness, listen to this. This is the end of this one. So I want to do this last sentence here. One could say that this happiness is a purpose of life as well, yet it could also be said to be the byproduct of fulfilling our life purpose of learning and growing. And there are some more reads here, and this is Psychology Today. Oh no, it didn't finish there. What is the purpose of life? An answer as opposed to the answer to the ultimate question is that we exist to continue to exist. We exist to continue to exist. We evolved to evolve. This is fundamental to every living organism. Inherent to our existence is that we learn, adapt, and grow. Health, happiness, and longevity are the payouts for this. Since our biological evolution is the foundation of our existence, a purpose of our lives is to continue to evolve during our lifetime by learning and growing. Each day, our purpose is to strive to be a little bit better than the day before and to continue this evolutionary process throughout our lifetime. Isn't it? Don't you feel like you're really accomplishing something when you learn something along the way? You learn something different each day, you experience something different each day. The purpose of life, why are we here? The purpose in life might sound like a simple, anticlimactic answer to the ultimate question, but there's more to this answer than at first glance. Our purpose in life to learn and grow throughout our lifetime also holds the key to how we should live our lives. I can't help it. I have to stop and interject here as I do. I am so happy that God assigned this to me. This is wonderful. Don't we learn from this research and these studies? We learn so much, and it just makes me happy, happy, happy. So, If you'd like to take the red pill and join me as I explore this and other topics, you can follow me down the rabbit hole here, finding greater peace and joy in our crazy world. Okay, in our crazy world. Now, the author is Mike Brooks, PhD. He's a psychologist who specializes in helping parents and families find greater balance in an increasingly hyper connected world. Oh, yes. And he's online, Dr. Mike Brooks. Dr. Mike Brooks, and he's on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Twitter, which we know is X now. Isn't that wonderful? I really enjoyed that. Talking about living our lives. And then in there, do you feel my second one is are you still in the caregiver mode? Do you feel and I'm gonna tell you, I almost every day, let me do this. Even though your children are grown, your grandchildren are grown, you still feel that you have to take care of them. You have to, when you cook, even, you still are in this mode that you cook enough for them and that you make sure that they have something if they come over and all that. The caregiver mode, do we ever get out of it? Are you still in the caregiver? Let me do this right. Let me, caregiver mode. How about it? Are you still there? Talking about living our lives now, okay? And this is how we live our lives. My goodness. Okay. It's going into some movies and all that. But are you still there? Caregiver, I don't think I'll ever get out of that mode. Are you still in the caregiver mode? We never, never get over it, do we? We never get over it. Caregiver dilemma, and so many of us have. Sometimes we have taken care of more than one person, even uh, adults. We've had the privilege to take care of people and help them along their way and do things for other people. Listen to this: desperately stuck in the caregiver mode and how to escape. And this is onevillage.io. Let's go into this and see what it's going to tell us, okay? Oh my goodness. Let's see. This is One Village. .io. I haven't been in One Village before that I can remember. I've been all around the world and then some on this computer. And this is by Charlotte Bayala, okay? And she's an author, she's a podcaster, she's a blogger, and One Village caregiver coach. She shares her experience as a cancer caregiver for a husband, and how she learned it's to separate life and relationship with him from her caregiver role. And I've been in that caregiver role, and you just do it. You just do it. I mean, hey, that's the way it was with me. I'm here. It's my duty, and I'm going to do it. No regrets, no sweat. It's got to be done, and I'm the one that has to do it. Now we bring in nurses and people that can assist us in some things, but the major caregiver role belonged to me. just like it does many of you. So, do you suffer from having your caregiver armor on so securely that it's almost impossible to take it off? Oh my goodness, this is super. Let me do this font so I can make sure I read it right. Okay. How do you suffer from having your caregiver armor on so securely that it's almost impossible to take off? When you first become a caregiver, you might have felt like everything was just dumped on you. Okay, so we're going into a realm here, but we've been caregivers. If you're a mother, your wife, you've had that role, you have that role, you have been a caregiver. Even some children have been caregivers for their parents when they were in their youth, in their younger days. So a caregiver is one who gives care to another. Okay? So when you first became a caregiver, you might have felt like everything was just dumped on you. There was a diagnosis for your loved one, and you were expected to figure things out. Too busy putting out the fires. Here's our next section. This is onevillage.io. This is super. Somebody needs this today. Too busy putting out fires. When you become a caregiver, there is very little to no warning and most times no guidance on how to navigate this change in your life. Your life is turned upside down, and you're too stressed out and busy to notice. How about that? I remember when I used to, and I enjoyed it. Grandmother, when Nicholas and Ashley were really little, I took care of both of them, and it was just wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. And when they got to where they, started school and all that, there was a difference, but it was something that you just naturally do. And if you just remember, if you're a mother, when you had your first child, you just naturally started caring for their child. If everything was good and normal as we see normal, you just started caring for the child. You learned to change the diapers, and you learned to bathe the children. You learned to feed the children. You learned how much they needed, when to give them solid food, and how long they're supposed to stay on strained food, and the milk temperatures, the whole works. It just started flooding in that knowledge by experience. So what do you notice? What you do notice are the sirens going off and all the fires you're trying to put out in order to get through this. You probably started to direct all of your energy and focus on your loved one. And hey, that's the way it is. To me, I made it through by the grace of God. And who's to say what somebody's gonna have to take care of me one day? Maybe. And you know how our children are now. They seem like they are the parents now. Seem like, what is it, 360? Everything is going around now. So they want to tell us what to do our lives and everything. But thank God my children understand they're not bossy, they're not overbearing or anything like that. But they do see about their mother, okay? Yes, yes, and my grandchildren too. So I thank God for that. When you give, I guarantee you'll get. You will get. You sow good, you reap good. You sow bad, you reap bad. So what you do notice are all the sirens. This is when someone, and those of us who've experienced sickness, yes. What you do notice are all the sirens going off and all the fires you're trying to put out. In order to get through this, you probably started to direct all of your energy and focus on your loved one. And you know what? This is good for those who have been cared for by their loved ones. Now it gives a sense of what the loved one was dealing with when the loved one was caring for you. Isn't that something? This is, there's a time, there's a place, there's a reason for everything. And I believe this is the time, the place, the reason for it is because somebody needs this. The one that was cared for and the one that gave the care. The giver and the receiver, okay? The caregiver and the care receiver. All right, my goodness. This is woo. So you made sure that they got their appointments, took their medicines, and tended to all of their needs while trying to keep the rest of your life together. After a few days, weeks, and months of that, you become fatigued, you are overwhelmed with anxiety, overloaded with stress, and scared. That's when it happened. That's when you unconsciously shifted to becoming a caregiver at least 90% of the time. It might not have happened all at once, but once you become present. But once you become overwhelmed by everything, you did what you thought you needed to in order to continue on with the pace. You turned that caregiver switch on and didn't even notice it got stuck here. My goodness. Your relationships with the person you care for changes when you begin to care for them. Understanding this change and figuring out how to still interact with them without a caregiver agenda in mind can prove to be difficult but important for both of you. And that is so true. Going into caregiving hyperdrive. This is our next section. When and she's talking now, and so she's getting to where I can understand what she's. I understand everything she's saying, but I can empathize and feel what she's saying and relate to what she's saying. Going into caregiving hyperdrive. When my husband was diagnosed with cancer, our relationship became unbalanced. The unspoken deal we made was that he was going to survive cancer and I was going to make it as easy as I could. That's when the caregiver switch was turned on and began taking care of 100% of the household, got him to his appointments, scheduled surgeries, and coordinated recovery. She said, I made sure the FMLA paperwork was filled out, people were updated, and career research was done in any way possible, all while trying to keep our home enjoyable to live in for my daughter. She said, I became his caregiver because he needed help living. He needed help finding and holding on to hope and positivity. He needed help to recover from surgery and to find out how to enjoy life with cancer. These responsibilities became overwhelming and it became increasingly harder to just be his wife. The next section here is why turning off your caregiver switch matters. Here we go. Why turning off your caregiver switch matters. When I was more focused on what he needed 100% of the time, I stopped seeing him as the person he was because I was always trying to assess what he needed. In my effort to support him, I forgot to simply interact with the man I loved. Everything I did was an effort to keep him comfortable and happy. It became difficult to not always be in my head. When I sat next to him to watch TV, I wasn't really there. I was trying to go through my to do list, wondering when the oncologist would call back, or even try to put together a plan or calculate how many frozen meats I had left before I'd have to cook again. Oh, yes, I understand where she is. She said, I wasn't really there, but I can remember much of it, even though I was going through it because I had to go through it. And I was thankful to God that I was there to be with Elder Davis and take care of Elder Davis. And then even his brother, I was there to take care of him and to make sure that he had what he needed. And, I said, I had no idea. And then Ella Davis's sister-in-law, I had no idea. And we don't know what life, the purpose in life. There are purposes that God has for us that we never would think, but he puts us in a position to do things that need to be done that we never would have thought that we needed to do that. And see, in Mama and Daddy, we didn't have to caregive for them because they never had a long sickness. And Mama was in the hospital a few days before she transitioned to eternity. Daddy transitioned within a matter of minutes, but he wasn't sick. And so anyway, his death, they would probably call that sudden. So we didn't have to be caregivers for mom and daddy. But guess what? Mom and daddy were always seeing about us, making sure we had this and that and the other. That's why I say, that caregiver mode, I don't think it ever leaves, but we're learning how to deal with this today. But then with Elder Davis, the Lord blessed me to be his caregiver. And so I didn't know that God sent me to Dallas, Texas on assignment. But I accepted those assignments and I followed through by the grace of God. And here I am now with a reasonable, and I say reasonable, but I have great health, strength in my right mind. And I say, I think I am. And I'm just so thankful. But God has a purpose, talking about life, life's purpose. He has a purpose and a reason for us being here. I never, ever would have thought that He put me in Dallas, Texas, to be in people's lives, to even have their physical, mental care in my hands. And I'm telling you, I did the best that I could, depending on the grace of God. Depending on the grace of God. And some things, Elder Davis would say to me that would just sometimes, just overwhelm me. And I'm not talking about anything bad or anything like that, but how he would express his appreciation. Oh, yes. Now, let me get back into this. Okay, she said, I realized, she said, I wasn't really there. I realized this when he was in the hospital. There was nothing for me to do but be there to keep him company. That's when I realized that just spending time with him was one thing I failed to do well in the first couple of months of his diagnosis. She said, I had jumped into caregiving and forgot to enjoy my life with him at the same time. This makes you think, doesn't it? So, when you get stuck in caregiving mode, you aren't able to live your day as the person you are outside of being a caregiver. You lose the ability to be present and enjoy your time with the person you care for. You miss the smiles, the tears, and the moments when things might have been said that actually mattered. While we were in the hospital, we talked and told jokes. We watched movies and laughed at comedians. It was a little vacation from the scary world we had been living in for a few months. I lost sight of how much I needed to just sit with him and have fun. I forgot how good it felt to laugh with him. She said, most importantly, I didn't realize that I needed this connection just as much as he did. This is awesome, isn't it? So when you keep that caregiver switch on, it feels like you're protecting yourself. Find it hard to enjoy a moment because you're worried it'll be followed up by something bad. You're too tired to do anything but be, let me go back and do this. You're too tired to do anything but be their caregiver, and slowly that connection you had before cancer becomes strained. You may begin to feel being a caregiver all the time helps shield you from the pain you like to avoid. You can't avoid a loss this way, and that's for real. She said, I know it can feel so much easier just to be their caregiver because to be yourself with them requires you be vulnerable. Okay, that takes a lot of strength and energy too. However, if you can take a few minutes at a time to really sit down and talk with them, play a game, or watch a show. It will help you just as much as it will help them. You deserve to enjoy the time you have with the person you love and care for. Oh my goodness. This is awesome. This is awesome. This is One Village .io. onevillage.io. Okay, man. And now I want to say this. I cared for Elder Davis, and I feel these things. And you know, when Elder Davis left, and if you've talked with me, I say left, that means he transitioned. Like I say left when people leave and go into eternity. After he left, I was thinking it was let me see, it was, yeah, maybe a month after, and I was getting ready to go to a banquet. Now mind you, I'd been doing this caregiving for a while, and everything was uh, around Elder Davis. Everything evolved, excuse me, around him. And so I was getting ready to go to a banquet after he had left, and I was in the bathtub. Sounds so simple. I was in the bathtub getting myself all freshened up, getting ready to, go to the banquet and everything. And while I was in the bathtub, I was just there, and I was in this good old soothing water with my bath, uh, what is it, bath salts, whatever I put in my water. And I was just relaxing. And then it dawned on me, you don't have to rush to get out of the tub. You can just relax. I stayed in that tub so long. When the water would get cool, I'd put some more hot water in it. This is when I realized that I could focus on me. Not that I was regretting focusing on Ella Davis, no way, no how. But it said you don't have to rush. And I stayed in that tub. You know how it is when you stay in the water so long till you start shriveling up on your toes and everything. That's when I realized that I could be myself, and I didn't have to rush. So now I'm going on to this other here. I don't know what time it is. Let me look at this clock. I have 10 minutes. So I wanted to share that with you. Be the best care if you have to be a caregiver. Be the best caregiver you can be. And I guarantee you will have strength and you will have patience. You will have resilience that you never, ever even thought that you would need or have. Now, some people have done some terrible things while caring for people, but that's not you. And it won't be you. And it definitely wasn't me. Okay? So you don't want to be that kind. But I'm telling you, you will see the strength, the resilience that you have. You will feel that you would sometimes, when you think about it, how did I do all of that? But you can do it if you have to do it. And if it turns that someone has to do it for you, you remember this is if you possibly can, that they will feel like you if you were the caregiver. Okay? Now, let me go into this. I think that was wonderful. Oh, my goodness. That was super wonderful. Okay, I want to find what I was talking about, the bad bye and the good bye. Let me see if I can find the bad bye and the good bye, because I had all that pulled up. You know how I do. Bad bye and the good bye. Let me see here. We have a few more minutes. Here. Lord, please let me find it. Let me find it. I did have it. I don't want to lose this. The bad buys and the good buys, because I definitely did have that. Well, if you give me a little chance, I will type it in. Wait a minute. No, it's on my other one here. Okay. Let me see if I have it here. The bad buys and the good buys. Oh, yes, on medium.com. Okay. Oh, yes. I think we'll be able to finish this. Goodbyes and bad buys. Had you ever thought of that? I hadn't, like I said, until yesterday, but it's in here. Goodbyes and bad buys. All right? Goodbye. Bad bye. Okay. This is Jason Wheeler, PhD, and you can follow him. He's published in Self and Others. This is okay. So it says it's a 3-minute read. So let's see how long it take us to get through it. Farewell. Detail Graham's Antiques. .co.uk. Bye bye. Goodbye. Bad bye. Okay. And have you ever said bye? You know, some people say, excuse me, you know, on what's that, Friday? Is it Friday? Bye, Felicia. You know, that was kind of like a bad bye. Bye, Felicia. Some people say bye bye, you know. But anyway, let me get into it. Okay. Or say that the end precedes the beginning, and the end and the beginning were always there, before the beginning and after the end, and all is always now. Words strain, crack, and sometimes break under the burden. Everything is working together here today, isn't it? Before the beginning and after the end, and all is always now. My goodness. And T.S. Eliot in the Burnt Norton said that the way that we say goodbye can tell us a lot about the way that we form and maintain relationships. Saying goodbye to someone often stirs up other goodbyes and draws energy, often painfully, from other endings. For some people, saying goodbye to someone can feel like the other person has died or has abandoned them. In order to avoid the pain of saying goodbye to someone, we sometimes opt for methods that make for what we might call a bad bye instead of a goodbye. And when I'm on the phone now, I don't say bye. I don't say that. So we'll talk later, God willing. But I try my best not to say bye. And if I say it, that means I slipped because somebody said, well, okay, bye. And then, you know, we used to say bye. But now, very seldom will I say bye. I say, we'll talk later, God willing. Okay. So the analyst, Herb Schlesinger, in his book, Endings and Beginnings, describes several ways people can react to an impending goodbye. I just had this man's work, I think it was in my first article here on this page. My God, on this webcast. Flight. You hear this? It said, there are the analyst Herb Schlesinger, no, that was a lady. Okay, in his book, Endings and Beginnings, describes several ways people can react to an impending goodbye. So here are the ways. Flight. Unexpectedly, just leaving without saying even a cursory goodbye, avoiding saying goodbye by not sticking around, by running away. Then there's withdrawal. There's flight, here withdrawal. Not leaving physically, but becoming emotionally absent, uninvolved, detached. Then there's a regression, a return to use of prior symptoms or acting out one's feelings instead of putting the goodbye into words. And there's a dependency, clinging to the person we must say goodbye to, avoiding saying goodbye by not letting go. Denial, not acknowledging the goodbye or minimizing its significance. Anger and blame, following the unconscious assumption that if one has been hurt, someone must be held responsible, blaming and becoming angry with the person who is leaving or from whom we must separate. So this is sometimes called abandonment depression. Hmm. The term can sound misleading because it doesn't sound like depression, it sounds like rage. But the rage is a secondary emotion or emotion intended to protect the person from feeling the primary emotion of depression. Then here we go, resignation and apathy, feeling disappointed, hopeless, deciding never to become close to anyone again. So these can all be thought of as various forms of bad buys. Bad buys, okay? They all they all backfire to some extent in their attempt, and that should be they evidently. They all backfire to some extent in their attempt at preventing bad feelings from a separation. For as with many things, tackling something head on is often better than trying to avoid it. I've learned that. The alternative is to try more deliberately to have a good goodbye. When I worked at a hospital day program for people with severe personality disorders, graduations from the program were marked by a whole string of goodbyes with one individual therapist, various groups one was a part of, and the community as a whole. Graduates usually felt a bit goodbyed out by the time they left. But that was quite deliberate on the staff's part because we had seen over the years how easy it was for people to try to dodge and avoid saying goodbye, and that they were seriously missing out in doing so. A good goodbye, as we developed the practice, had several key features. Number one, it's a process and not abrupt. Number two, it involves telling the people who are leaving or whom you are leaving that you will miss them if you will, and specifically for what? Number 3, saying what you hope for the other person in the future. Number 4, and putting both positive and negative feelings into words. I know it's 1 p.m. Overall, I have found that really saying goodbye can be work, more for some people than others, but that the effort is usually rewarded and certainly better than one of the many bad buys we might have instead. Please, she said, please clap. He said, please clap, comment, and share. All right. So, hey, it's Jason Wheeler, PhD, okay? And you can find him at Jason Wheeler phd.com. I love you all. Thank you so much for being here with me. We did 3 topics today and they all worked really well. Thank you so much. You are wonderful. You are awesome. And I trust and pray that you will have the rest of this day as a good, productive day. Happy birthday to whoever is celebrating a birthday. Happy anniversary to whomever is celebrating an anniversary. And remember that God loves you and I do too. And tomorrow at 2:15 p.m. is from the Biblical Files of Dr. Mack. And join me again, God willing, on Thursday, which will be the 10th of October. I love you. Enjoy the remainder of your day. Thank you for being with me. Please share. Somebody needs this. Please share.